welcome back to the Caprine Cottage Knitting Podcast. My name is Anne, and I'm joining you from my kitchen in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York. Hello, welcome everybody. Content-wise, we're finally in 2025. Thank you for bearing with me for last week's recap. I think you guys enjoyed it, and I definitely enjoyed going over everything. But today is going to be my 2025 knitting plans, and that feels wild to me because my first ever YouTube video was my 2024 knitting plans, though I did make it in April, so yeah, I don't know. Like, I haven't had my YouTube anniversary just yet, but yeah, it just seems wild to be planning another year and to have like accomplished a lot of the things I set out to make. And yet again, I have a series of like very lofty goals. I feel like I always bite off more than I can chew, and I can't help it. And I'm not even that mad about it, I guess. But so I guess just a couple things to start off with. I don't know if it matters that much, but I feel like I should just say them here. Two of the projects I'm going to talk about I am working on, but I didn't bring them because I have to move through this list pretty quickly. But next week will be a podcast episode, and I'll show you them in detail. They might be close to being done by then, which is cool and fine, but I'm sorry you don't really get to see the process on these smaller things I'm working on. But don't worry, there's big long-term projects coming. And sort of on that same note, as I go through these things, I'm probably going to go relatively quickly, and I'm going to try and put pictures on the screen like I normally do here with like a photo credit and maybe saying who the designer is. It will all be in the description. It's always in the description. I'm going to try to put the pictures in. For some reason, my computer specifically hates that. Like, it ends up like taking up a huge amount of like RAM/storage space when I'm editing and like inserting pictures. I don't know why that specifically bogs my computer down, but it does. So I will put in as many as I can. But if at some point in the video they're not there anymore, that's why. It's because my computer is just literally like no more space. And so yeah, that's just how it is. I'm working with, I don't know if I've ever really told you guys, but I have like really old equipment. My camera is at least 10 years old, and my computer might be 11 years old, maybe 12. I can't remember now. And it's a laptop, so it's not designed for video editing. And it's fine. It works fine. I am like trying to save up to get new stuff, but just so you know, like if anything is ever weird like that, that's why. My computer sometimes will just like, it will just crash if the file gets too big. So yeah, anyway, I said I was going to move fast. I guess that's like mainly the like housekeeping things to talk about. We'll just move on. And I guess the way I'm looking at my like project planning for this year is sort of, well, I guess as I was planning, I realized some different themes kind of appearing. And then it kind of got me thinking a little bit about, I guess, where that's coming from. And I would say like my main thing for this upcoming year is that I really want to create things that fill the gaps in my wardrobe. I now have like quite a few hand knit pullover sweaters, which is great. But I'm definitely missing some cardigans. And I also, what did I write down? So that's going to be one theme is like filling gaps in my wardrobe, which then would include cardigans, dresses, and maybe vests, and maybe like a button. Like, I don't think I need that many vests, but I do have like, this is not a good example, but I have many either blouses or dresses that have like nice puffy sleeves. And so then it's both like uncomfortable and kind of a shame to shove them in the sleeves of something. So I think a vest or two would be like really helpful to my wardrobe. I'm not a huge vest person, but I think I want to be. And then I guess the other theme is just like, I talked about this a little bit, last week, which is like sort of getting back to my roots, like what made me get back into knitting after a long time of sort of stagnating with it, which is Shetland / Fair Isle knitting. I talked about this last week a little bit and how I kind of strayed away from that a little bit last year. I really focused a lot on trying new yarns, I was doing a lot of work with Icelandic yarn and also sort of like dipping my feet into the world of online social knitting. I don't know what you want to call that. And I definitely was like influenced by like wanting to knit trendy patterns or things that were just coming out. And because of that, I sort of didn't make a lot of things that had been on my like long time list, which I don't feel negatively about that, but I just like kind of want to get back to my roots a little bit, I guess. And so I feel like that's just, I don't know. That's my precursor to the list, the big list. And I guess then we'll just talk about things with each project as I go on. I have like some things here to show you. I'm pretty sure this basket is full of yarn. I'm pretty sure you've seen everything in this basket in some way or form, but I just brought it so I could like remind you of some things. Like I said, I'm going to move through these projects pretty fast because there's 11 plus of them. And so even if I spend 3 minutes on each project, that's over 30 minutes of content. And then also this intro is already like 8 minutes long. So yep, I'm trying to keep this under 45 minutes. So yeah, let's just get into it. And I hope you enjoy and maybe you're making some of these projects too. So I have to open up my other book. I have so many. Some of my notes are in my phone. Some of them are in my notebook and some of them are in my planner. Which, yeah, I don't know. I probably should have a better system. Or less systems, maybe. But so I'm using my line of publishing planner that I got at Rhinebeck. And in the back here, it's actually really cool. It has all these like resources in the back. But it is a cast-on wish list. It's all filled up. No one is surprised. A lot of these things you've already heard about, and some of them I've been talking about for like over a year, but this is the year these things are going to get done. So the first thing that I'm currently working on is the late bloomer mittens. The designer is Kristen Leggett. I have talked about these for months and months. I feel like you guys are probably so bored about hearing about them, but I have finished, well, there's embroidery involved, so I haven't done that, but I finished one mitten. I can just show you really fast. I said I wasn't going to show you because I knew this would happen. But here is my progress on the second mitten. I'm not going to give you details. I'm just going to tease it for next week. Here's mitten number 1. Oops. Mitten number 1. And so I haven't embroidered the flowers on them yet, the first one yet, but I'm making progress. But I wanted to get them both knit before I started embroidering, just in case I ran out of yarn. I should have extra yarn, but we'll see. So that's where I'm out on that. Hopefully it will be done soon. The next thing is also in progress. I don't have it with me. I left it upstairs, but that's the Tara Shawl by Gudrun Johnston. Again, I've talked about this multiple times. I don't know what video it's in. I think it's in the gift knitting video. There I show my color palette. If not, I have been posting a little bit about it on Ravelry. You can go in there and see some more updated pictures. On that note, I played Yarn Chicken and lost, which is not really my, I'm usually really careful about yarn, like I overbuy, but I used pretty much stash, at least for the color striping section of that, and my main color, like my lightest color, which now I'm not going to remember what color I chose, but it's a JNS shade. It's kind of this like peachy, it's actually a really cool color. It's like somehow is both peach colored, but also leans green at the same time, which I know sounds impossible, but it's a beautiful shade, but I ran out. So I had to order from my favorite, the Woolly Thistle, to get that, but I couldn't just buy one $6.50 ball of yarn. So I'm pretty sure I only ordered balls of J&S 2-ply jumper weight, which is like my go-to yarn. That or, you know, Jameson's of Shetland Spindrift. They're very similar weight and content and all of that. But for the projects that I was buying for, it was mostly, I think it just was, everything called for J&S, or I was like re-upping my stash. Because I have like partial balls of things always so much. But this is a big reason why, like I said, I want to get back to my roots, because I do have a lot of Shetland yarn and like partials and stuff, and I would love to use some of it. I still bought more. Who are we kidding? But so that's what's going on with Tara. She's just kind of like on pause. It says my order will be delivered Monday, which usually comes sooner than that. Like, it usually comes a day or two before they predict it will be here, but we'll see. I don't know. The next thing that I want to make, I talked about, I think, also in the gift knitting episode. I'm pretty sure that's episode 15. And like I said, I'll try and put cards. Actually, I didn't say that yet. I'll try and put cards. I learned something last week about the cards on YouTube, is that you can only have 5 per video. So I'm trying to say the episode too, so you can go back and watch it if you're looking for more details. But so I'm pretty sure it's episode 15, the gift knitting episode. But that is the Beau Ray by Sachiko Bergen? Ooh, I don't know. Feels French. Anyway, that came out pretty recently. It's just a little beret with a bow, like an I-cord bow, which I think is so cute. And I want to make it to match these mittens. And I should have enough. I don't know how much yarn the flowers embroidery on the mittens will use. So, again, playing yarn chicken. Who is this? I never do this because it gives me anxiety. And I hate when I run out. And also my mohair color. I love how I was like, I almost didn't bring this down because I knew I would keep showing you guys. But this is my mohair color. And this is from Poppy and Spruce Fibers. And I got this in like the mystery 3-pack. Which I can't remember what episode that is in either. I don't know. But anyway, I got a mystery 3-pack in the summer, and this was in it, and it happened to match perfectly with my lichen and lace rustic to sport. But because of that, this is one of a kind, at least in my life. I mean, maybe if I reached out, she would have more, but it like doesn't even have a color name or anything. I think there's plenty, but you know, the lichen and lace, I could always buy more if I needed it, but this I'm a little nervous about, but I think it's gonna be okay. I just have no, like, this is I have no frame of reference, like how much yarn the embroidery will use. Like, is it a lot? Is it a little? I genuinely have like no idea because I've never really done that. I've never embroidered on my knits with yarn, so that's kind of exciting. Then the next like little accessory sort of thing I want to do is make the Maxine hot water bottle cover by Laura Penrose, and I've been seeing this pattern everywhere. I love it. I have a hot water bottle, but I really don't use it that much because it doesn't have a cover. And I think maybe I talked about this in the gift knitting episode too. Clearly I didn't get anything done except gift knitting. I didn't knit anything for myself, which is maybe good. I don't know. But I would love to make that from some J&S 2-ply scraps. I realized I was in my stash like really going through that. And I realized I have, I think, 2 full balls of, I'm not going to know the color number, but it's like a dark brown, a chocolate brown. And so that might be like the main color of it. Because for that I have to hold it double. So it will probably eat up quite a bit of yarn. Danger again. So I haven't chosen colors for that or anything, but that'll be like a fun accessory sort of small project. But okay, then we get into the big stuff, which again, I feel like so repetitive. I'm so sorry if this is boring. But the next thing or the biggest thing I'm going to cast on next is my next garment, which is the Burra cardigan by Yuko Sakamoto from My Fair Isle Journey. And oh my gosh, I'm like so psyched for this and so incredibly nervous at the same time, which I think is good. I feel like none of my projects like really pushed my boundaries last year. Like I felt very comfortable making all of them. Nothing like made me really scared. And I, you know, that's good too. But I think I grow the most when I start a project that I'm nervous about. Sorry, I took this out and didn't show you, but I've showed you this before. So the Burra is the cropped sweater in here. It's a cropped cardigan. Again, I've shown this to you before. It's this little cutie. And I have my yarn here. I can show you the color palette. But what I think is really exciting is, oh my gosh, I wrote it down because I'm not going to remember. Yes, it is called that. Sibling Energy Podcast. And her handle is M to the third on Instagram. And I didn't even realize like they had a podcast Instagram separate, but whatever, that doesn't matter. Anyway, they are hosting a Bucket List Kal, and I feel like knit-alongs so rarely like coincide at the time that I'm working on something that's appropriate for said knit-along, but I think this is perfect because it's sort of a Kal about like tackling projects that you've either been putting off or that intimidate you, but that you really, really want to do. And that is this project for me. I have wanted so long to make an all over colorwork garment, like traditional Fair Isle all over colorwork. And I'm really nervous and really scared. I have all of the skills. Like I am totally capable of doing it, but I'm a little nervous. I feel like sometimes, I mean, I'm a perfectionist in case you couldn't tell, but like sometimes my colorwork gauge can be a little wonky even after like all this time of like really focusing on that. And, you know, I always worry about steeking. It's not my first time. Like I've done all of the different skills that's needed for this project, but it still makes me nervous. Also just, you know, all over colorwork is not as stretchy as like a yoke or something that only has colorwork in certain places, and I'm scared it won't fit. Like the list goes on and on. But also like I really want to do this. So I just feel like it's perfect to like be part of that Kal for this project. And it's going to be my first big project of this year. And I would love to get it done. This is so ambitious. I think by the end of March, which I don't think that's going to happen. I feel like it's going to be the end of April. We'll see. Maybe I get like really into it because I know Caprine from the Woolly Thistle in her podcast, she describes like things as being potato chippy. Like you can't just have one. And I do really agree with that. Colorwork motifs can be like that. Like you get through one repeat and you just like want to do the next one. And it's like really satisfying. And so maybe this project will be like that. But anyway, I'm going to show you really quick my color palette. I changed it a little bit from like what the sample colors are, but it's very much based on the sample colors. So these are 4 Janus 2-ply jumper weight shades. This is a dark navy. It looks a little black. But these are 4 shades that are called for in that sample. Then these 3, I can't hold on. Feeney's banging, I'm sorry. But these 3 are kind of where I've strayed away from where it is. So I chose a more yellowy green. She had, like, her 2 greens were a bluer green, which felt super Christmas to me. I talked about this already, but so there are those 2 shades. Hi, guys. Editing Anne here and Feeney. But I think my camera cut off at this little part, and so some of the recording is missing. I'm really sorry about that. I don't think you missed very much though. It's probably just me talking a little bit more about my color choices, which again, you've seen it already, and maybe sort of like rambling more about just Burra cardigan stuff. But yeah, so that's like what's missing from here. I'm sorry. I hope it's not too weird.
feel like this video is a little all over the place. My camera just does this thing where it only can allow for 21 minute recordings, and if I don't catch it, it just stops. And so clearly that happened. So sorry for the inconvenience.
But anyway, yeah, so Burra, that's my first big undertaking of the year. And yeah, I hope I can get it done. January is ticking away, and if I want to keep making little projects, I don't know. I would love to have it done before spring really sets in. I would like to have it done by May 1st. Here, hold me accountable. But, so the next thing I have is a double. Well, sort of. I'm going to make two versions, which is so insane, but I bought the yarn, so it's happening. And that is from this book here, which I have yet to make anything out of this, Grand Shetland Adventure Knits by my two faves. And those are the Downstairs Socks by Mary Jane Mucklestone. I'm gonna show you a picture. If I can show you the pictures from the books, then maybe I won't have to insert so many pictures. Since my computer does not want it to happen. So here they are. And I'm obsessed with this color palette. You guys know I love primaries. That's what drew me to this pattern. Again, all over color work, Shetland yarn, loving it. I made that one pair of colorwork socks last year, the Tang Fair Isle socks, and I love them. So I want more socks like that. And so for these, I showed you guys before when I got back from Rhinebeck, I bought this extra special sock set from Wing and a Prayer Farm of her like Shetland fingering weight that I'm like 90% sure that these are natural dyed. I'm obsessed with this color palette, but again, because this is so special and precious, I'm a little nervous to use it. And so as I was ordering yarn from the Woolly Thistle to like make up for my Tara chicken loss, I was like, you know what? I'm going to order the sample colors for these socks too, and I'm going to make them in JNS 2-ply before I use this because I'm a wimp. So I ordered those colors. Well, and also I realized there's going to be some plastic crinkling because this is just my organization system. But I realized I had like not enough. Like I had to supplement. Oops. But I had two of the colors. Oops. Oh my gosh, I just crushed that. Anyway, here I can shut this. But I had two of the colors as partials. And so these are 202, which is stone. Sometimes they have names. And then this is 121 mix. And I've told you before that this yellow is oh so special to me because I got this at my first Rhinebeck. But, so I had these two. And so I only needed to order like a couple. This is like a justification of my addiction, right? But, so I brought my shade card to show you the other colors. So the other colors are this red. Not that red. That's what's also so funny to me about this whole thing is I own like these three red shades, like not the end one, but the three in the middle. I own like many of them, multiples of that. Of course, it's the one red I don't have. But so I got that one. That's this one here. And that is number 9097. So that's the red. And then the blue is this blue. I don't know if you can see that very well. It looks really dark. There's the blue. That's 135. Which... it is it's funny because they have so many blues and it really is different from all of them. And I have lots of blues I could have used, but I ordered it anyway. So I got those two missing colors and I can't remember, like I definitely had to get another ball of this stone, I think. But I didn't have to buy two, so that was nice. And yeah, so that's that. I want to make 2 pairs of the downstairs socks, which is ambitious. Though I did make a lot of socks last year, and hold on. I was like sort of impressed by how many socks I actually managed to make last year. And so I feel like that has given me like some, I don't know, probably like unfounded confidence or something. I don't know. But yeah. Then next on the list, I'm not even going to talk about this because you guys know, but I need to finish my radish socks. So now we're getting into spring projects. I would love to get all of those things done before May 1st, but like that's insane. I don't think it's going to happen, but that would be ideal, or at least some of it. But yeah, so then now we're into spring projects, which would be, yeah, finishing the radish socks. I've talked about this ad nauseum. I'm not going to get into it. The next thing I've also talked about 100 times, but this year is the year we're going to do it. We're going to make the cloud bow dress by Reed Keys. I brought that yarn just as a reminder to show you guys the color palette. I did write down, the last time I talked about that was in episode 5. So you can see how long this has been going on. But here's my colors for that. I have these 4 mohair shades, and then this is merino lace from Hedgehog Fibers. Yeah, so that's happening. That's going to be my first spring project. I would love to have more knit dresses, so there's 2 dress projects for this year, which again, I feel like the more I talk about this, the more crazy and unrealistic it seems, but I don't know. We can do hard things, right? I don't think it's about knitting. The next thing is also something I didn't accomplish last year, and that's the calico socks. I forgot to bring the yarn for those, but I have a really nice, I think it's from Spun Right Round, but it's a nice like indie dyed light pink, and then some other shades to go with that. So that feels like a springy project too. But then the next 2 projects are things whoa. My camera did something weird. The next 2 projects, though, are things I haven't ever talked to you about. So that's why I kind of skipped ahead. But the first one is the Melby yoke by Gudrun Johnston. And this is going to sound bad, but to be honest, when she released this pattern sort of just like flew over my head. But then a couple months ago, she released a picture of an alternate colorway that was being done in conjunctions with Jimmy Bean's Yarns. I think that's what their website is called. They're another retailer that sells Shetland yarns. And I think other yarn from the UK. I don't know. I've never purchased from them. But they did a kit with them of a new colorway. I'm going to put the swatch, her photo of a swatch, I'll put here. So you can see that. But anyway, that color palette was just like, bam, amazing to me. And I was like, how have I never noticed this pattern before? It's so cute. It's like a yoke sweater cardigan, like a yoke cardigan, but then it's a little bit shorter. And I also realized that I like have all of the colors pretty much. I had to order one, but I'll show you. Again, in plastic. My life would crumble without Ziploc bags. And I like reuse them again and again and again until the zippers don't work anymore. But anyway, so I have them all here. You will have seen this in the intro, though. I took some B-roll of it. But the main color is, Gudrun has said before, this is her favorite, and that is Old Gold in Shetland Spindrift. I also love this color. A good friend of mine and I always say that we love this like color range, and it's like the baby poop color. I have like many dresses. Even the dress I'm wearing is like sort of, it's different, but that's like, someone, I told you guys, I think last week, that brown is my favorite color, and someone else said that brown was their favorite color, and I felt really seen in that moment. I think it was Wild Dog Mountain, maybe. It's one of my like regulars that comments, and I was like, yes, someone else loves brown. But anyway, that's the main color. And then here, I'm going to open up my phone. I have the list of the actual colors. So yeah, the main color is Old Gold. Then the next color is Spindrift Amber, which I don't have, but I did have this, which is Jana's 2-ply FC7 mix. And this is like not enough because I used this in my Tara too. And it's not enough, so I ordered another ball of this as backup. I love, like, these are colors that I will use. That's why I ordered extra. Then the white or the light is Eset white from Jameson's of Shetland, and this is what the main body color of my lower low is. So I have leftovers. I have a whole ball and 2 partials, so that's plenty to do a yoke. So I already had that. Then the next color is Spindrift Verdigris, but I don't have that. I hope I said that right. I have this though, which this looks so blue in the viewfinder, but this is much more teal green in real life. And this is JNS 2-ply number 71 green. And this feels very similar to that Spindrift color. I got this in a Woolly Thistle mystery box, and I was like, I'm never going to use that. That's not my kind of color. It goes perfectly with this. And then I have 2 pinks. So the Spindrift color that the kit called for is salmon. But I have these 2 in JNS, and I think that I'm going to go for this pinker one as opposed to this more purple one. I'll hold them all together in a second, but I'll tell you these colors. So the more pinky one, which I think I'm going to go with, is FC6, Fashion Color 6. And then this more purpley one is 1283 mix. And so I think I'm going to lean towards this one, the more pinky one. But so I will show you these balls all together so you can see the color palette a little bit. I think it's so beautiful. It's so perfect for my taste. So I'll leave the purple one out and show you this like this. So, whoops. It's always hard to wrangle these little 25-gram balls. But so there's that. And I love it, and I love that it would allow me to use some stash for the color work at least. Or this is just leftover Eset white. But that's the purple, and here, I'll hold them all together. I think the pinker shade is more like that salmon, that Spindrift color. So this one, the upper one, as opposed to the lower one. I just think it vibes better. So that's my palette for that. I would guess, oh my gosh, my notebook. I'm going to go ahead and guess that that would be, like, I assume I'll be working on cloud bow and all that sort of stuff through like the summer. That's my plan, at least into or through July or August. And then I would think that maybe my Burra will definitely be worn at Rhinebeck, and then the Melby yoke could be my Rhinebeck sweater. So yeah, I don't know. It seems so crazy to be planning for October of next year, but you know, I would hope to start knitting on that in July or August to then be ready for October. And so at least I have everything here. I just need to buy, I think it takes 12 balls of old gold. And so I have one. I will probably order 12 because who knows if I'll get the right lot. So there's that. So yeah, that's my like next thing that I haven't even talked to you guys about. And then the next thing is a pattern I discovered semi-recently. I don't remember why I brought this down. I have Shetland Trader Book 3. I'm not totally sure why that's in my stack here to show you guys, but maybe it will turn up. It'll come up in a minute. But, oh my gosh, covered in yarn. I'm a disaster. Anyway, this pattern is called the Bresse Dress, also by Gudrun Johnston. You can see a theme here. And it's from this book that's called Fair Isle Style. And this is by Mary Jane Mucklestone. And I think this is from, it's from Interweave Publishing. And I think that Mary Jane worked for Interweave, if I remember correctly. I'll show you a picture. It is this here. I think it is so cute. It's a yoke design with these like kind of flutter sleeves. And then the pockets, to me at least, look like little sweater yokes. Like I imagine that that's the construction method. And I just think it's so cute. And it's like such a practical item for me. Like I love to wear essentially like a t-shirt dress, like a dress that's a t-shirt, but it's just dress or tunic length sort of. I feel like that's such a classic staple in my wardrobe. I have a lot of things like that that are just, you know, made of t-shirt material, or like I have one that's made of linen and it buttons down. I have another one I made that's just linen. It's such a like easy thing for me to throw on because you can wear it over leggings, you can wear it over jeans. But so I haven't chosen colors for that. And my other like dress tunic like thing is the Zurich smock, and that's brown. And so I don't think I want to make it brown after I just like talked about my love of brown things. I meant to flag all these pages. So this is made in Brooklyn Tweed Loft, and I don't think I will use that. I don't know. Like the sample is, that's what the sample is in. I feel like I might use Shetland yarn. I don't know. So like I really want to make this, but I'm obviously like very undecided about what that will look like. And so this would probably be my winter project for the end of next year. And then that would give me room to, you know, have some other like gift knits and stuff fit in there. But you guys are like, that list wasn't long at all. That's because you haven't heard my stretch goals yet. So we move on to page 2. And so I'll go over these kind of quickly because I also haven't brought up any vests. But other things that are on my radar, I have like not planned, but I've talked about these a little bit. Another one I want to make is the Nordic Bloom cardigan by Caitlin Hunter that just came out in Lina Publishing's special edition of Nordic Knits. So yeah, I would love to make that in Peace Fleece. The other one is, or another cardigan is the Polly cardigan by Amy Christoffers, Savory Knitting. I don't really know how you say her last name properly, but I would love to make that. Paper Crane Yarns, Ashley at Paper Crane Yarns made that cardigan, and she did like brown and pink, which I loved. I don't think I would do brown and pink, but I found that really inspiring, and so maybe I would do something in that vein. The most likely thing that I will knit if I get through my regular goals and onto the stretch goals is the Maggie Vest by Susan Crawford, and it is an all-over color work Fair Isle design. It's cropped and it's a little button-up vest. I'll put a picture here if I can fit it. And I think it's so cute and I love it. And I've really been trying to find like traditional Fair Isle adjacent vest that I like. Like my stipulations are generally that it's a V-neck, it's not too long. This one has buttons, which I feel like is such a bonus. I love the idea of a button front vest. And on that same topic of button front vests, the Pellica vest by Rosa Pomar. I love that too. That's just like a garter stitch vest, and I feel like that would at least be like sort of easy to make. I don't know. It's on my radar. And then there's 2 other projects that are so crazy. And one is also from Grand Shetland Adventure Knits, and it's by Gudrun again, and that's the Heritage Yoke cardigan. But there's a background as to why I'm even interested in this. So I recently resubscribed to BritBox so that I could watch the 2 newest seasons of Shetland. Like I hadn't seen season 8 or like season 9 is airing now, and I hadn't watched either of them. And so I've been catching up on that. I feel like I'm just like missing Shetland so much lately. Like it comes in waves where sometimes I don't miss it so much, and then like lately I just like want to be back there so badly. So I've been like consuming all the Shetland content. But anyway, I was watching that, and in season 9, like the newest season, no spoilers, don't worry if you haven't seen it, but Tosh wears this sweater that is so cute. And someone, I think actually in the Woolly Thistle Facebook group, was like, does anybody know like the pattern of Tosh's sweater? Like I want to make it. And I think that someone else commented back saying it was like a traditional Norwegian design. But for me, it really reminded me of this Heritage Yoke by Gudrun Johnston. And that is knit in JNS Heritage 2-ply. And I'm pretty sure the sweater she wears in the show is from Toast, which is like a UK clothing brand. But I love the idea that this is made in, sorry, I'm looking for the Heritage card, which is this card. So yeah, this is the Shellin Heritage. And that sweater is like a lighter blue, and then all the color work is a darker blue. So it's just 2 shades. And I think that these, can you see? Not this blue, this is the Saxon blue, but this shade, which is indigo, and this shade here, which is muscle blue. I'm gonna hold up the card so you can see. I feel like if the lighter blue was the body and the darker blue was the color work, it would be so beautiful. Yeah, so I literally just added that to the list today because I was researching about it last night when Caleb and I were watching the show. Because she wears it for like, it's like a lot. I don't know if you've seen season 9, you know what I'm talking about, but that sweater is in multiple episodes, and so I keep seeing it and being like, oh, I want to make that. And so that would be really nice. Yeah, and I can show you a picture in the book. I'm just so afraid that my computer won't allow me to put up the pictures. It's here. I want to make sure to show you a picture that doesn't have any like instructions. Sorry. Ah, too many things. Well, here you can see this shows the yoke kind of pattern. And then here I'll put my hand over the full body picture. It has this here. I'll just put it off the screen so you can't see. But it's that sweater, and I think it would be so cute in blues. Because also I definitely don't own a blue sweater like at all. Like even a like commercially made sweater. I don't have a blue one. So that would be nice. And then this is the final thing I added to my stretch goals. It's from Shetland Wool Adventures Journal Volume 3, which Volume 3 is the one I think, I don't even know if I've read the articles in this, which I should do that. Here it is. It's the new shell scarf, which is like such a classic Shetland. Sorry, maybe I didn't hold that up long enough. But it's like such a classic Shetland kind of thing. And the Tara is the hat on the edge. There is that like razor shell pattern. And I was so afraid that it was going to be really impossible for me. I find lace knitting really mentally challenging. But Tara has been so much fun. Like I just cruised through the lace work. I memorized it so easily and it was really fun. And so now I love the idea of making a lacework scarf, which reminds me there's actually a lacework scarf designed by Mary Jane in this one too. So I guess that's like the ultimate stretch goal is to do a lacework scarf. I actually hate knitting scarves. Like not shawls or things that are more exciting, but like a regular long scarf is not this. So it's the Stanley Dale scarf. It's not at all razor shell, but it's another lacework or scarf. And so maybe that, I don't know. I don't really wear scarves either, if I'm being completely honest. Like a rectangular long scarf. Like I'll always wear like a triangle shawl instead of like a long scarf. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what I will achieve, or I think having 2 dresses is really ambitious because it is just a lot of knitting, but the cloud bow is at a pretty loose gauge, so I think that it will go quickly. And I love the idea of having a summer knit. Like I never knit things that are summery or springy really, except for socks, but socks are all the time. But anyway, I think I'm gonna say goodbye now. I'm sorry if it was hard for me to like convey my thoughts. I feel like I did a lot of planning and like really looking at like what I have and what I want to make, but it's still like swirling in my brain. And I feel like after the holiday kind of reset, I have like all these ideas kind of growing. And I'm starting to feel really inspired again, which I think is really good. And I'm hoping that I will try to be less enticed by, you know, impulse casting on or like just seeing a pattern and like skipping my plans to make something that is new to me. So yeah, that's kind of my themes and my plans for this year. As always, I'd love to hear if you guys are making any of these patterns, or maybe you've made them in the past and you have some insight or things to tell me about making them. Yeah. I guess also if you're new here, feel free to subscribe. I put out a video pretty consistently every Friday. This is going up on Saturday. Sorry, it's Saturday. But normally I put up a video every Friday at noon. So if you like this kind of knitting content, that's mainly what I post. So feel free to stick around. If you enjoyed this, can you give it a thumbs up? That would really help me out. And then if you're looking for me elsewhere, I have Ravelry and Instagram and Goodreads, and all of those accounts will be linked right below in the description, so you could click on them there. And I think that's everything. Oh yeah, next week will be a regular podcast episode, and I'll show you Tara and the late bloomer mittens in more detail, because that's what I'm working on right now. And I maybe if I get make a little more progress on that, I might cast on Burra. I feel like I'm sort of procrastinating on it, but I want to as well. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a lovely weekend and week, and we'll talk soon. Bye.